I'm Jonas.
Where are you from?
I'm from Kyrgyzstan.
I think it's just important to start them out young and just make that a part of normal summer routine. Every summer, we go to camp.
"27 years ago, when my daughter, who was born in Korea, was 5, and my son, who was born in India, was 2, and we went as a family to a Korean camp that someone else actually started, having been to a camp in Minnesota, and we loved it. And I immediately started volunteering to help. And then my son started saying, I Korean, because he knew there was something that felt good about being at that camp where the kids all looked more like him than we do. And that the parent, he just knew, even as a little tiny kid. So then, of course, my husband and I started with a group of other families who'd adopted from India, the Indian Nepalese Heritage Camp.
Well, I like attending camp because I feel like there's a lot of other kids that are like me, and they have like the same skin color, and they're fun to play with.
I think they were 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of people tried to encourage us to go when they were younger, and we didn't listen to their advice, but we wish we would have.
When you listen to kids talk about camp, kids of all ages, little to big, they talk about the friendships and the connections and the continuing friendships. Yes, some of that is because they look like me, but a lot of it is because they're adopted and so am I. And so some of the feelings that they have, the emotions that they deal with, that again, if you're not adopted, you're not going to get it. You don't know, where does that abandonment come from? Those feelings of abandonment, those feelings of loss. I've often said, when you're adopted, there's a great big hole in your life. The very fundamental part of who you are is missing because you don't have your family heritage, where you were born. And it's, gone. And then you come into this other wonderful family who love you and adore you and give you as much as they possibly can, but can't give you that piece of who you are. So camp is helping to fill that void.
Some of the things I enjoy at camp was Heart Talks. It made me feel happy and safe, and I was emotional.
The most information that I get, that I've seen to retain and that has been the most helpful all along is talking to the adult adoptees and getting all their information and their take on it. That has resonated year after year.
Well, I think the biggest thing about camp is the racial mirrors that they see. And so with their counselors, Analia loves her counselors because she looks at a counselor and the counselor looks back at her with a similar face, which is really important for the cultural mirror for our kids. And then the fact that so many kids that attend camp come back and are counselors just tells me that this really does have a deep connection for these kids.
You gotta have role models, and that's what the counselor and camper relationship is. It's a role model. It's someone you can look up to, someone who you know is gonna be there for you. And I definitely wanna be that for all the kids that come to camp.
Like any family, you get traditions and things that come up from just time and exposure, and having this camp every year, whether we're coordinators or campers or counselors, there's always a new facet every year. It's like it's like the annual family holiday almost. It's like what's going on this year, who's doing what, where's everybody at. It's just a part of our family DNA, I think, at this point.
Every year for camp, it seems like you get one solid gold piece that that I think about all year. One time I remember hearing Pam say, your children are not the bridge, you are the bridge. And that has stuck with me, since the first time we went to camp. I think that was I think she said it the first year that we ever went. And so that's something that I always think about.
As a community member, it was an honor to be asked 20 years ago to come and share a small part of our culture through dance. And through the years, it has been so amazing for me, my family, and for Mudra Dance Studio to be able to go and relearn the different aspects of our culture in our country and reconnect with it, and then share that with the community. what that has done is reinforced our roots within our family, within ourselves, and be able to share that with the community at camp.
One of the classes that really made an impact on me was the class about how my child's perceived, and differently than what I am as being a white male. He's perceived obviously based on his skin, and not a lot of issues have come up now, but I definitely can understand now that it will come up in the future.
You learn so much when you're at camp because it's such an intense weekend. But all that stuff bubbles, all the knowledge that you've learned bubbles up throughout the year. So feelings come up and you can go, oh, there was an adult adoptee panel that they talked about feelings of disconnectedness.
Every year, the different kinds of adult workshops that I'm interested in has changed just as our kiddos have grown up. So, now we're parenting a teenager in the world. And so I'm sure they offered classes like that 10 years ago, but I wasn't in that space at that point. And at that point, I was dealing with, toddler issues. So now that we go year after year, and Jonathan's in middle school and in high school, I think, just bringing those topics back around for parents like us is going to be a great resource.
For our family, camp has become our tribe. And so it's so nice to be able to have other parents that, might have really different ways of life or opinions on different things, and yet to be all brought together because of our children, to have someone that you can, really discuss things that are really hard and tough and you have no idea how to handle sometimes and you feel very much alone.
There's definitely been ups and downs in times, and I think the resources that the camp has provided too, whether it's counselors or just ears to lean on, people get what you're going through, and so not everybody's life is perfect and not everything is hunky-dory all the time in anybody's life, but there's some specific things that come up in our families that we can get the resources that best support our family, and you just know you don't have to hunt as hard, you don't have to look as far, it narrows your search for things that make an impact on your family quickly, and you've got resources, whether it's for the kids or the parents or everybody.
Going to camp and learning about my brother's culture has made me appreciate him more and learn who he is better than just my adopted brother. He's my real brother, and I want to know more about him as much as I can.
The connection and the immersion with these beautiful families who have dedicated their lives to their adopted children, that connection that my daughters have been able to achieve in the past 20 years have made them better human beings. And I can say that with so much pride and so much gratitude to this organization.
It wouldn't be nearly as full. It wouldn't be nearly as joyful or full. Most of our really good friends now are from camp. Most of our kids' really good friends are from camp. And I think many of our good experiences are from camp. It's become for us that planning around camp in the summer is one of the top priorities of our lives. Our world revolves around it, by choice, because it is so valuable for us. I can't think of our life without camp.